Rams and Chargers are on the list. GM sounding off.
Yeah, let's just talk about late-breaking stories. Roster cutdown day is tomorrow, 1 p.m. West Coast time. Everybody's got a B2 56. The Chargers situation. They have said they will make a decision. They have to make a decision by 1 o'clock tomorrow on Najee Harris. Are you going to carry an injured running back on the active roster, or do you put him on the PUP list, which means he would miss the first 4 weeks of the season? He's not practiced at all. He's done nothing football-related except jog and then run hard, but he's been involved in no actual physical contact. They have not indicated the severity of the eye injury, whether it was a fractured orbital bone from the fireworks incident, whether it's a muscular damage to the eyelid, which we tend to think it might be. At the end of the day, their general manager indicated, Joe Hortiz said over the weekend, he could play opening weekend. I don't see how that's humanly possible because they got 10 days to practice before they go to Brazil to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the opener. I would tend to think the safest thing to do is keep him on PUP, which means he misses 4 games. But in the next 4 weeks, you'd have the opportunity then to actually get him into the practice regimen and get him into contact and pads, etc. Quentin Johnston, who took the brutal hit in the Rams game a week ago, has been cleared from the concussion tree. He's back on the practice field, ready to play. By the way, the Rams cornerback who nailed him was hit with a $4,600 fine for a blow to the head. So the league saw what I saw. This was a defenseless receiver that the Rams cornerback plastered him. Roster cuts coming up for the Chargers. They got some tough calls to make at running back. I mean, Omarion Hampton is going to be the starter, the draft pick out of North Carolina. I would assume Hassan Haskins, the Michigan running back that Jim Harbaugh brought with him, probably is the backup. What do they do with the third back? Is it Vidal? But he's been hurt. Kim Vidal has hardly played at all in preseason. Is it Rocket Sanders, who they found and really he ran hard, didn't fumble the football? Might he be the third back there? I don't think it's going to be Nye Miller-Himes. He's had fumble problems, a lot of fumble problems on punts as well as run on the football. So they got a decision. And if Najee Harris, if they're adamant he's going to be on the roster, that means somebody else is coming off the roster at the running back position. So that'll be intriguing. What do they do with the extra wide receivers? Because you got the 2 kids they drafted that they really like, Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith. I think they probably both make it. Quentin Johnston is there. So now you got 5 wide receivers right there, including, obviously, McConkey and Keenan Allen. What happens to Jalen Reagor, who's got tremendous speed, but has a history of dropping the balls, but has played well in spurts of time? What do? Do they keep all the rookie wide receivers? Do they try to get one through waivers and put them on developmental? That bears watching. And they got a load of defensive backs, and they got some young DBs with the Chargers that have played really well in spurts. Nico Reed has played very well. R.J. Mickens has played very well. And so are you keeping 2 kids who can run that played a lot of snaps in preseason, or do you keep in an old dog like Tony Jefferson, who came from the Baltimore Ravens and played at the end of last season and made some plays? Or are you keeping an old hand rather than continue to stockpile lots of young athletes who can run? So a lot of roster moves here with the Chargers. In terms of the Rams, they've finally spoken out about Matthew Stafford, and it came from Les Snead, the general manager, over the weekend. He said that Stafford is now ready, full pads, in contact, take hits. The doctors have told the Rams doctors that Stafford will not further aggravate the disc issue in the back if he gets sacked, if he gets bent around. What they have to do is they have to manage if there's swelling in that area, but you can do that with medications. You can do it with a hyperbaric chamber. Obviously, you can't get him bent like a pretzel because he's going to get hurt that way, but he won't further damage the back if he goes out and plays and takes some hits along the way. It might be a little bit about pain tolerance. It might be a lot more about the treatment during the course of the week from start to start. They got a question at left tackle. Alaric Jackson has not been cleared by doctors to go through full contact yet at left tackle. He's the guy they signed to a contract extension. He's the one that was sidetracked during spring OTA workouts blood clots reappeared. They don't know yet. They got themselves 10 days to 2 weeks to get a decision from the doctors as to whether he's going to practice. And the right tackle, Haberstein, is coming off 2 knee scope surgeries. He's not played in preseason at all. They think he's going to be ready to go. They got roster cuts to make too, but I think that's a much better team, whereas I think the Chargers still have a whole bunch of questions unanswered about numbers of guys you're carrying, about the questions I have about their defensive tackles. So tell you what, tonight and tomorrow are going to take us to where these rosters are going to be. By the time we come back Thursday, we'll have a better understanding about what they did, why they did it. You want to talk Bolts? You want to talk Rams? Go ahead.
Well, with the Bolts, have they sorted out the whole offensive line, reshuffling?
They have, but we haven't seen Mekhi Becton play.
Yeah, you're right.
The massive right guard has hardly played. It is intriguing to me. They signed after they lost Rashawn Slater. They went into the marketplace and they signed a journeyman left tackle, David Sharp. Been with the Ravens when Hortiz was there. Spent a whole chunk of time with the Arizona Cardinals. They played him, first game he played. He took all the snaps at left tackle. And I thought he held up for a guy who hadn't been in camp. I thought that based on experience, he held up. They played him at right tackle in this last preseason game against the 49ers. And I said, wow, that means to me, they don't have a lot of confidence in Trey Pipkins kicking him back out to right tackle where he had started and was found deficient.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Sharp is going to be the opening day right tackle just based on experience. He held up. He was okay. He held up at left tackle. So I guess to answer your question, I think they still have questions. I'm not sold that Brad Bozeman's the right center because he graded out terribly last year. And obviously Zion Johnson didn't play well at left guard last year, and they experimented with him in the middle of the line, and they moved him back to left guard. If Sharp is going to be the right tackle, that means they don't think Pipkins can hold up, which means they got uncertainty now. So I think they'll be fine with Joe Alt on the left side. But so there's some question marks as it relates to that offensive front.
And then on a typical roster, it's 53 man, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many running backs do most teams carry?
4, maybe 5, depending on if you play power ball. Sometimes the 5th guy might be a punt return guy, but they got receivers to run punt returners. I think they're going to carry more wideouts than they would be running backs.
Well, do the Chargers typically line up 2 running backs behind the quarterback?
Not all the time. I mean, and again, they've got the defensive tackle who becomes the fullback. So they don't take a fullback and say this guy's part of the roster. They got a defensive tackle who will be the part-time fullback.
Hell yeah. It's going to blow some holes in that line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where they are. And your thoughts on Stafford?
It's good to hear that he is going to be healthy. I mean, that was the only big question really in the Rams camp. That was the dominating issue, is whether he was going to be all right. So the Rams are positioned to likely win that division if Stafford is healthy. So you would hate for him to not be there. So good for him. But we did see Stetson Bennett, and he seems to like be pretty steady.
Well, Jimmy G's going to be the player if Stafford doesn't start.
Okay.
But the fact that the doctors told them directly over the weekend he can't aggravate this or injure it even more if he plays.
Now, what's the scope on a story on Devontae Adams? Has he had a good camp for the Rams?
He hasn't played in the games because Sean McVay hardly plays any starters at all.
Ah.
But they're excited. Puka Nacua, 2 tight ends, Devontae Adams. That's pretty good collection. Kyron Williams, the Notre Dame running back, Matthew Stafford. Now, left tackle, right tackle, that's a bit of a question mark in terms of durability. And if Alaric Jackson is not cleared by doctors to practice, and he won't be ready then to start the season. And blood clots are very serious things. So that's where we are. All things Chargers, all things Rams. Feel free. Jump on board. Fans Forum chat box. Give us opinion.